welcome back to Beauty Bee. I'm a planner, so even though there's still 4.5 months left in 2021, I'm really starting to think seriously about my project plan for 2022. So I thought I'd put together a video of the things that I'm thinking about panning next year. And I would love thoughts and feedback on this because I have not made up my mind at all about some of these categories. Some things I'm pretty sure will be in the project, other things, who knows. So let's start with eyeshadow. I am conflicted on eyeshadow. There is one thing that I know I would like to work on, and that is my Maybelline City Mini palette. If you watched yesterday's video, which is the prequel to this one, you would have seen my other Maybelline City Mini palette and know that I want to be able to depot a couple of shades from that. Well, really repress. There aren't actually pots in these. It's just a solid piece of plastic. Anyway, I want to be able to repress a couple of those shades and have the other shades finished by the end of this year. I want to do something pretty similar with this palette. I think that I would like to finish off these two shades. I really don't care one way or the other about this brown. If I was already repressing other things, I might throw this into a pan. Otherwise, take it or leave it. And this brown, I really don't care about. Hopefully, I will have this shade finished by the end of this year, so I won't have to worry about that one either. But I think that that should be pretty achievable. I pretty clearly have made quite good progress in both of these shades. They're both super neutral, super easy, things that I could definitely wear on a pretty everyday basis. So this is a definite work on. I say definite, but I really mean that I'm like 95% confident that I want to include this in next year's project. As far as other eyeshadow goes, there's a part of me that thinks that this is a really bad idea, and another part of me really wants to go for it. It is my only ColourPop Super Shock, and I have the shade Ladybird. This is one of the Ultra Glitters, which makes me think that finishing this might not be as urgent as some of the other Super Shocks. I need to use glitter glue with this anyway. I assume that if this becomes a crumbly, dry mess, I mean, it was already kind of a crumbly, dry mess on my eyelid when I first got it, so yeah, I'm not sure. I do have pan in it, which is not a great feat in these ColourPop shadows. I have finished 2 Super Shocks in the past, but they were both satin finishes. I actually don't know if ColourPop has made satin finishes for a really long time, but yeah, I don't know about this one. Unsure. I've had this for close to 3 years at this point, if not maybe a little over 3 years. So it's definitely something that if I want to use it up before it goes bad, I should really get working on. I'm just not sure that I want to set myself a Herculean task. I'm also thinking about potentially panning some of my single shadows. Actually, all of these are repressed from older palettes. This is from, well, it was housed in my NYX Avant Pop palette originally. This is a mixture of a couple different sleek shadows. It's a very pretty color. There's not a whole lot left. It is getting pretty old and it's been repressed twice. So it's lived a full life and I think it's time for me to just finish this. I have no idea where this came from, which is probably an indication that I have had it too long and should use it up. This is from the Wet n Wild Silent Treatment quad. the one that's a little bit of a smoky quad. They haven't sold it in a little while, I believe. I don't think it's part of their new lineup, but I still have this shade. This is actually another mixture of... Wait, what is this? I don't know what this is. I think this is another mixture of Sleek Shadows, but I'm really not sure. So again, an indication that I should probably be working on this. And there's also not a whole lot left in this one. And then finally, this is from the Wet n Wild, or at least it was. Oh, it's fine. I probably edited that out, but we almost had a casualty. It's fine though. This is from the Wet n Wild Petalette quad. I use this as a blush, so I think that it would go relatively quickly. And I mean, obviously, I've made good progress on this, even since repressing. And I believe that I had some pretty sizable pan in this shade when it was still in its original packaging. So I think I should definitely be able to finish off one or two of these next year, especially with these three. There is not a ton left. I think that I could probably finish those pretty quickly if I decided to focus on them. I'm just not sure that I want to focus on them. We'll see. I mean, I think you can tell. I am really not decided. I would love thoughts and opinions, points that I've not thought of myself. And then the last thing that I'm really considering for my eyeshadow panning is probably my most unrealistic goal of the bunch. I do not want to pan a palette. I don't want to. I know that after 7 months, I would be left with like these 3 shades and like this bright green glitter. And I don't want that. That doesn't sound fun to me. However, it would be neat to hit pan in every shade in here. Now, clearly I'm off to a good start because I have pan in 1, 2, 3, 4 shades. I also have a really good dip going in this peach as well as this blue. And there's obvious use on pretty much all of these shades, maybe with the exception of this sort of deep teal. This has definitely been used. I would be off to a running start, but I mean, my goal for this year has just been to hit pan on these 4, and we're 8 months in. I thought this was going to be easy, and I only have pan on 1. So, yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Let's move to face next. Now, in this area, there are actually a few products that I know I want to work on. The first I've been working on this year to prep this product. This is the Rosé Champagne blush from Wet n Wild. I want to finish this next year. That might be ambitious, but I want to. I think that I have made really good progress so far. This is not worn down quite evenly. There's definitely thicker product along the sides than there is in the middle. Well, I mean, clearly there's pan in the middle, but I don't know. I'm hoping that this will start to go really quickly at some point, but I really have no idea. I also just dug a chunk out of that, so I guess that's a little bit more progress in my panning, but I think that this will be achievable. I'm not sure that working on both of these like I'm intending to will be achievable. My thought is this is quite a pink blush. This is rather peachy. They wouldn't really compete with each other. This is a relatively small blush pan, and I would only have my goal to be to hit pan in this. I've definitely roughed up the surface quite a bit, and there is the tiniest little dip going on there. But I think this would be a good one to work on because it is a deluxe sample, and I have a relatively similar blush in the shade Dandelion that I feel like would always be competing with this one for my attention, and I think I like Dandelion just a hair more. I definitely like the way Dandelion is packaged in a trio of 2 other blushes from Benefit a lot more than I like having this little single floating around. So I'm gonna work on this, I think, and hopefully I will be able to hit pan in the next year. And then as far as bronzer goes, I'm pretty sure that I want to use up this Tarte bronzer. This is Park Avenue Princess. I've had this for 3 or 4 years at this point. I never really used it consistently until this year, and I can't even say that I've been using it that consistently this year either. I have tried it as a blush just pretty recently, and I really liked it that way. I also do like this as an all-over bronzer. It does have a little bit of a sheen to it. I think this would be doable, and if I'm going to work on a bronzer, it will definitely be this one. All of my other bronzers I bought either in 2020, really at the very end of 2020, or in 2021. So I feel no great need to work on those. It'd be nice to get this out of my collection. Highlight's another area where I'm just not sure what I want to do. So what I've been working on this year is this Wet n Wild highlighting palette. My original goal was just to hit pan in one shade, and I finished that a few months ago. Now I'm trying to hit pan on a second shade, and I think that will likely happen by the end of the year. I don't know exactly what my goal would be for next year. I'm kind of thinking that my goal might be to finish one of these shades, probably this one, maybe get this shade to the point where it would fit in an eyeshadow compact, and then just repress what will fit into a single shadow pan of this shade. This shade is an okay highlight on me. I really prefer to mix it with a little bit of the white, but I could probably make this work if I really wanted to. It's just not fabulous on me. Yeah, I think that would probably be a reasonable goal. I don't think that I could finish both of these. And if I'm going to be focusing on a palette for 2 years, I would want to be able to get rid of the packaging at the end of the 2 years. So I think that would be my goal with this one. The other possibility is to work on these 2 baked blushes. These are both from Wet n Wild. They're both from the same line. They're the Hummingbird line. I don't know. They came out 3 or 4 years ago as part of the spring collection. I only bought these sometime in 2020 though. And I have made good progress on both of them. I think my goal with these would be to either hit pan or completely wear away the bird embossing. And I think that would be quite doable. I mean, I've owned these for 10 months, and both of these had a bird embossing that went all the way down. I've worn away the bottom portion. I tend to stick my brush in the bottom half of these because I like the bird embossing so much, but I don't know, it would also be really good sign that I was making excellent progress if I were to wear away the entire bird embossing. Also, then I could call my project Pan Bye Bye Birdie, and that maybe shouldn't be as much of a draw to me as it is, but that's a selling point for these blushes as my highlighters. I think that covers face products. I'm not exactly sure what my miscellaneous category would consist of. I have some old lotions that are hand-me-downs from my mom that I would like to get through. I also have just a stash of hair products that I need to use up some of. I don't know what I would want to use of them though. I haven't really thought through that very well. As far as nail stuff goes, I am pretty sure that I will work on some subset of these 4 polishes. This polish, which is Sonic Bloom from Sally Hansen, I am pretty sure I will work on. I have a very, very similar shade to this in a Wet n Wild Fast Dry, I think, which is a really similar formula. It's a really similar shade. I just want to use this one up before I get to my Wet n Wild one, and I have used up quite a bit of this. I am right down here, so I've used roughly half of this. I do like this color a lot. I have it on my toes right now. It has traditionally been one of those shades that I use when I don't know what I want to use, when I'm not particularly feeling anything. So I think this would be fun to work on. I like it a lot. I'd be happy to use it. The other 3 are, I think, the oldest polishes that I have left. This is a mini from Ulta. It is this off-white. I was intending to focus on working on this year, but that didn't happen. So yeah, I'll give it a go sometime and see if I like it. If I do, I'll work on it. If I don't, I'll probably just toss it. This is 4 years old, I think. And these Ulta Beauty polishes were okay at the beginning. I think that they have declined in quality, but this is the only one that I have left, and it would be really nice to finish this off and just not have to think about those 8 mini Ulta Beauty polishes that I bought in one go 4 years ago on Black Friday because I was lonely. Exposing myself. The next polish is actually a pretty similar story. I bought this before Christmas in 2016. So this is about 5 years old, and I think I've used it like 3 times. I've liked it the times that I've used it. I was not into nude nails at all for most of the time that I owned this. Like the Ulta Beauty, this came in a set. I want to say this came in a set of like 10 mini nail polishes, and I've used up or decluttered all the rest of them over the years. This is the only one I have left, and it would be really nice to finish it. I have worn this recently. I think this was like my manicure 1 or 2 before the one I have on right now. I like it. It's a really pretty color. I think it looks better on me when I top it with some glitter, but glitter's fun. And I have plenty of glitter, so I could use this. And there's really not a ton in these. There's 5 milliliters or 1/6 of an ounce. So that would be doable, I believe. And then my last nail polish that I'm considering some other ones, but the ones that are really seriously under consideration are these 4. This one is again from Sally Hansen. It's the Insta-Dry line, and this is the shade Go Garnet. Now, this is a very dark, vampy color. This is not totally my shade anymore. It used to be. I used to have quite a few different, just really dark shades, and I have since finished them up or decluttered them. Actually, I think most of them I finished up, but anyway, I have actually made quite a bit of progress on this one as well. I'm trying to look through the bottle. I've not always stored my bottles up right side up, so I have quite a bit of dried nail polish on the bottle, on the interior of the bottle, but I think that I'm right around here. So I'm about half done with this as well. I could see myself getting a lot of use out of this in like October, November this year, and then October, November next year, and using this up. And this is an ultra polish, so that would be fantastic. And I forgot to talk about lips, so let's do that. There are there should be 3 lipsticks that I am prepping for the year. I don't know where the other one went. The other one is Sassy Mauve. Maybe it's in my purse or something. I don't really care enough to check right now. But this is Secret Club. I have just a little bit less than half of this tube left. I was prepping this to put in next year's project for the first half of this year, and I did get half of it done, which was my goal. So fantastic. I think I could definitely finish that one. This one is Peach Please from Wet n Wild. This is another one that I have stated I am trying to prep. I actually don't know if this will end up making it until my project pan. It is structurally unsound to the max, always has been, and I honestly might get sick enough of that I just get rid of it, because I cannot with this thing. I said already that I was also prepping Sassy Mauve from Revlon, and I have probably about 50% more product in that tube than I have in this one. So it'll be a little bit more of a stretch to finish that one, but I am going to be working on that one for the rest of 2021. So hopefully they will be starting at around the same point. The other 3 lip products I'm considering. The first is from e.l.f. This is their Hydrating Core Lip Shine. This is in the shade Delightful. And let's see. I have, I would say, a little more than half of the product left in here. I only bought this in April, so really with that usage, I'm actually on track to finish this by the end of this year. However, I don't think that is super likely to happen. But I think that this would be a very achievable, almost gimme product to pan in 2022, and I could use some gimmies because I think those were really motivating to have in my projects this year. It was really nice to have, I want to say that I finished 2 of the lip products that were in my project by the end of January, which I started my project at the beginning of December, so that was 2 months, but it still felt really nice to actually be able to check things off my list relatively early in the project. And I think I could do that with this. Another product that I'm really thinking about putting in is this e.l.f. Ride or Die Lip Balm. This is in the shade Just Peachy. I haven't had this for very long, but it's just not great. It is more pigmented than I want it to be for like a lip mask. I don't feel like I can wear this to sleep in because I'll make a mess of my pillowcase and possibly my face. It slides around a little bit too much. It's not something that I feel super comfortable applying with my finger because it has just a hair too much color to it. yeah, I don't know. I wanted this to be something that I could wear during the day or at night, but I think this is going to be something that I can just wear during the day. And I have lip balm that I like a lot more, so it would just be nice to have this one done. I haven't used it a ton. I have, let's see, I have my tally sheet and I'm trying to think. I want to say that I'm right around 30 uses on this thing, and I have definitely made some good progress on it. I mean, at least visual progress on it. So we'll see. Maybe I will put this in the project and be done with it. And then finally, I think I'm quite likely to put this in the project. This is from NYX and it is a butter gloss. This is in the shade Tiramisu. And I have no idea how much I have left of this because it was completely coating the walls yesterday, except there was just a little sliver of clear that I could see somewhere in this area. But then also yesterday, I scraped the sides with the wand and the product hasn't settled down below this line yet. So I don't know if I'm actually quite far along in this gloss and there's just a lot of product stuck to the sides, or if I have a ton of product left. It could really be either of those or anything in between. I have no concept of how far along I am in this gloss. However, I have had my tally sheet going and I'm really close to 50. No, I've hit 50 uses on this just since I started my tally sheet, and I had this all summer and was using it quite a bit before I had the tally sheet. So I don't know where I am. I think that I would like to finish this next year. And on that very satisfying note, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, to reiterate, please do leave thoughts on what you think maybe I should pan next year. Obviously, there is a lot of time between now and January 1st. My ideas on what I want to pan could change drastically between now and then, but this is what I'm thinking here in this moment. So, thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed. If you would like to see what I'm hoping to finish before the end of this year, I will link both my Project Pan for 2021 as well as the prequel to this video, which is things that aren't in my Project Pan, but I'm still hoping I will finish off by the end of the year. With that, thanks again, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!